So one of the things that has happened is in the last few weeks when I started talking about goal setting and achievement and all the things that I love, the mindset and the productivity stuff, I've been getting a lot of questions. I've actually got a lot of DMs from people who've been asking me about, well, how do I set effective goals and how do I do it? So I know we've all been told those things about, you need to make your goals smart, right? You need to make them specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. But before you can get to the point of where you're setting smart goals or whatever the method is that you use, that you really need to start with a compelling vision. Without a vision, for those of you who are Christian, for those of you who've read the Bible, you know that even in the Bible, it says that without a vision, the people perish. But what you really need is a compelling vision, right? That has to be the most important thing, is that having a vision that truly drives you, that you're truly connected to. But here's something that happens for many of us, is that we have this vision about this life that we want to create. And then it feels almost like our brain is fighting us, right? And that is not an imagined thing. One of the things that I've learned through coaching, through reading, all of this stuff, is that is very real. Your brain has a part of it that is called the amygdala. And the amygdala's job is to keep you alive. The amygdala's job is to keep you out of danger, keep you away from risk. So the minute you have this dream, this vision of something that you've never created before, or places you've never been, or relationships you've never had, the amygdala is like, whoa, girl, whoa, not girl, whoa, you've never done this before. We don't know what's going to happen if you go into this space. So no, we don't want to do that, because it's doing its job of keeping you safe, keeping you alive. So that's why sometimes when you have a vision, when you have a goal, it almost feels like your brain is fighting you, right? You've had that where it's like, why am I sabotaging myself? A lot of the times, that's your amygdala. It's just doing its job of keeping you safe. But there's another part of your brain called the prefrontal cortex. And that's its job. And that's the part of the brain that, they've done research and scientists have tracked this and measured it. That's the part of your brain that gets excited when you have a goal and a vision. That little, that excitement in your belly. You're like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm so excited to do this. That's the part of the brain that gets lit up when you think about doing something new, going places you've never been, having relationships you've never had before. That's the part. And here's the thing that I learned and that I've read about, is that your brain is no different than any other muscle of your body. So you know how when you go to the gym, if you work your legs a lot, you're going to have stronger legs. If you work your biceps a lot, go in there and do all your curls and whatever else, you're going to have stronger biceps. That's the same with your brain. So in your brain, if you work your prefrontal cortex more and more and more and get it excited about vision and goals and dreams, it will start to get stronger, and it'll start to almost overpower the part of your brain, the amygdala, that is there to keep you safe. And that all goes back to having a compelling vision. Now, I want to share with you 3 things that I have learned through coaching, through reading, about how do you create a compelling vision. Because like I said, a compelling vision is the foundation of all your goals, all your dreams, wherever it is that you want to go. That's the foundation. So I'll share 3 things that have worked for me, that I've been taught, that I've learned through coaching, that I've learned through reading. Number 1, to have a compelling vision, you've got to first see it in your mind. So as they say, anything that you achieve, anything that has been achieved, was first a thought. You create things twice. You first create it in your mind, then you create it in physical reality. You make it manifest, right? And so for you to have this compelling vision, it's got to start with your mind. You've got to think about, what is that compelling vision? You've got to create it in your mind. A really powerful exercise that one of my mentors had me do, actually last year, a couple of years ago, was he said to me, okay, let's think about your 5-year vision or your 10-year vision, whatever that aspirational vision that you have, not the day-to-day vision of, I need to keep myself alive, I need to pay the bills, I need to pay, no, the aspirational vision of, if you could achieve anything, if you could be anything, what's that vision? And he said, what you need to do is, if it's 5 years from now that you think you'll be there, if it's 10 years from now that you think you'll be there, what you need to do is to pick a day. So for example, today is whatever the day is, May 18th, right? Is to imagine 10 years from now, what will May the 18th look like for me? And he said that you've got to do it in such detail, like actually live that day in your mind. So on May the 18th, 2030, what is my day going to look like? Where am I going to wake up? How am I going to wake up? Am I going to have an alarm? Am I going to, that level of detail? What's the house that I live in? What am I going to do when I wake up? What am I going to eat? What does that taste like? Like literally use all your senses. What does it taste like? What does the house smell like? Who's there with me in the house? What are we doing? What are we saying to each other? Have it so clear in your mind. You know, one of the things that we lose as grown-ups, as we grow up, is we're told, stop daydreaming, stop daydreaming. And I think that's the worst thing that we could do for ourselves. I think there's such power in daydreaming or visualization, because you start to imagine it, you start to put yourself in that space, and then it starts to become something that you think could become real. And so start with a compelling vision. Start with, what does it look like? I want to share with you guys a funny story. Okay, so you've heard me mention before, I have a 5-year-old nephew who I adore. I adore all of my nieces and nephews, and I have a lot of nieces and nephews. The 5-year-old, he's just his own level of swag. Like, my nephew Tato is just on another level. But he, I guess, in his mind, in his daydream, has been thinking about how when he grows up, he wants to marry Princess Jasmine from Aladdin. Okay, so we haven't broken it to him yet that Princess Jasmine isn't real. Gonna let him live in his daydream, let him be 5. So his big dream in life is to marry Princess Jasmine. And so I guess he's gotten over the what if stage. So when you're visioning, you start with what if I could do this thing? So he's got to the stage where it's like, oh yeah, I could do this. Now he's at the how stage. See, that's how daydreaming and visualization works, is now he's no longer thinking, oh, this is impossible, or I couldn't do this. Now he's thinking about, well, how would I do it? So he comes to me one day and he's like, Auntie Sandra, you know when you buy a house, how do you buy a house? I'm thinking, you're 5. Why are you asking me about buying a house? So I said, like, Tato, why are you talking about buying houses? And he said, well, because I want to get ready for when I have to buy my house for Princess Jasmine. I was like, okay, great. So he's already thinking about the house that he's going to have with Princess Jasmine. Like, this kid has it in detail. He has thought about they're going to get married, where they're going to get married, what her dress is going to look like. He's thought about how many kids they're going to have. They're going to have 3 children. He's thought about where they're going to live. And he even, a few weeks ago, before quarantine started, he one weekend said to his dad, you know, I want to buy Princess Jasmine a Bentley. That's the car that I want Princess Jasmine to have when I marry her. So Dad, can you take me to the Bentley dealership so I can go see like a Bentley and see how much it costs and see what it looks like? And so literally his dad, he bothered his dad so much that his dad took him to the dealership to look at Bentleys because in his mind, he's already thinking about the how. And so do you see how having a clear vision, a clear and compelling vision, starts to lead you to asking the questions that will ultimately lead you to achieving whatever it is you're trying to achieve? Because I can't remember who said it, but they said that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions that you ask. So have a compelling vision, something that you can actually see, like go into the detail of achieving this thing that you're trying to achieve. The second thing that I would say and that I've learned is that you've got to visit your vision on a regular basis. It can't be something that, a lot of people at the beginning of the year, they set their goals, they might write them down if they're lucky, and then that's it. They put that book away or that piece of paper away. You've got to visit that vision on a regular basis. So literally, in my case, again, things that I've learned being around people who achieve big things, I visit my vision daily. Every single day. It's literally one of the first things that I do. I wake up, I meditate, and I think about my vision. I think about where is it I'm going? What is it I want to do? Because then that keeps it front of mind. And again, like I said at the beginning, you've got those parts of your brain that are fighting each other. And so you want to keep that prefrontal cortex lit up. You want to keep it excited about where is it I'm going? What is it that I'm doing? This new thing that I'm working towards. So number one, got to have a compelling vision. You got to see it, taste it, smell, use all your senses to imagine what that's going to look like. Number two, you got to keep that vision in front of you. You got to visit that vision often. Keep it front of mind because that keeps your mind reminded of where it is you're going. Because it's kind of almost like a journey, right? You have to keep referring to the map, keep referring to where am I going to. Otherwise, you're going to go off path and not get to the destination. The third thing that I've learned over the years is that your vision has to be associated with feelings. You have to feel your vision strongly. Because if you think about life and you think about how we go through life, we're really driven by our feelings. We're always in our feelings. Think about, for example, if you have a fitness goal. You're like, I need to work out 5 days a week. I need to eat right. Well, what is it you say? I don't feel like going to the gym today. I don't feel like eating a salad today. Or I feel like eating potato chips. Potato chips are my thing. I feel it's about our emotions. We're very emotion-driven creatures. So it's how do you appeal to, how do you engage your feelings in what it is that you want to do? You've got to have feeling associated with your vision. A few years ago, I think it was maybe 2016 or so, I discovered this lady. Her name is Danielle Laporte, and I'll let you show you. She has this program that's called the Desire Map. And the Desire Map really talks about the fact that our goals, our vision, it's not about what we want to achieve necessarily in terms of check, check, check. It is about how we think achieving that thing will make us feel. Just pause on that for a second. Anything you want to achieve, you can trace it back to feeling. How you think that thing, whether it be the weight loss or whether it be the money in the bank, whether it be the partner, it's about how you think that thing will make you feel, because we are feeling creatures. We're all about our feelings. And so through Danielle's program, what I learned is that I really need to make sure that whenever I'm setting my goals, setting my vision, that it's tied to feeling. How do I want to feel? Or what is it that I think I will feel when I achieve this thing? And so for me, when I did the program, I came up with 5, what she calls core desired feelings. I'm going to share them with you. These are my core desired feelings. You do you. You figure out what your feelings are. What is it you want to feel when you achieve your goals? But it really has been powerful for me in terms of anytime I'm setting a goal or I have a vision about where I want to go, I filter it through these things. And I've come back to it often. I literally have come back to it pretty much, I think, every year since I first did it in 2016. And what's so interesting for me is to go back and then to look at where I am now. I just did it at the beginning of this year. And those feelings that I defined 5 years ago are still very much the feelings that I want to feel now. And so for me, I'll share with you my 5 core desired feelings, as Danielle refers them to, is my number one feeling is joy. I want to do things that make me feel joyful, that make me feel happy, things that light me up in terms of just making me happy. I'm a happy person. And so for me, that's important. If I'm doing something, it has to be something that brings me joy, right? That's my number one feeling. The second thing that I've defined as a core desired feeling for me is I want to feel alive. You see, I had a point in my life where I had goals, I had visions, and I was achieving all these things. But my life felt very gray because I wasn't really tying, those things weren't tied to how I wanted to feel. So even though on paper I was achieving the dreams, I had the whatever, money in the bank and the nice house and the relationship, I felt gray. Like it was like almost like my life was in gray. And it was really about, okay, what do I need to feel fully alive, to feel fully engaged with everything that I'm doing? So that's one of the other things that I filter my vision, my goals through is, does this make me feel alive? Does it make me feel engaged? Does this make me feel excited to get up in the morning? The third thing, kind of related to feeling alive, is passion. I want to do something that I feel passionate about. I want to have passionate relationships. I want there to be passion in my life. So that's another key thing for me is passion. The fourth thing, and these are not in any order of importance or anything like that. It's just the order I'm telling them to you in. The fourth thing for me is I want to feel fulfilled. Does what I'm doing fill me up? Does it light me up? Does it make me feel like I'm walking in my purpose? Does it make me feel like I'm achieving what I was put on this earth to do? And for me as well, fulfillment is also, am I living my life in service of others? Does it fulfill me? Is my fourth criteria. And the final criteria is abundance. I want to live an abundant life. I did a live a few weeks ago, where I talked about wealth and the fact that wealth isn't just about money, that wealth comes in all forms, all areas of our life. Like that wealth is about our health, it's about our relationships, it's about, the work that you do. And so for me, I want to feel abundant in every area of my life. So those are the three things that, I said about, creating a compelling vision. How do you create that? So just to recap is, number one, you've got to be able to see it. There's that expression, see it in your mind's eye. You've got to be able to see it, feel it, taste it, smell it, touch it, because then it truly becomes compelling. Number two is visit it often. Revisit. Why am I doing? Your why. Why am I doing this? Why is this important to me? See it often. And the third thing for me is you've got to tie it to feeling. You've got to tie it to feeling because feelings are what ultimately drives us. So I hope this was useful to you. I really feel so strongly that you have to think about what is your compelling vision, and not just think about it. Write it down. Write it down, because there's such power when you write down what your vision is. So thank you. Make it a great day. Make it a great week. Thanks so much for joining me.
Here's what I'd love to ask you as our community. So I want to know from you, who do you want me to have on the show? Who would you like me to interview? Who are some of the amazing women whose stories you would like for us to share on this platform? If you have any fantastic ideas, and even better, if you can connect me with them, please comment, leave your comment, or DM me and tell me who are some incredible stories I should be sharing on this platform. And the other ask that I have of you is for you to subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on social media. We're on Instagram and Facebook, and share. Please share. If you find any of our interviews inspiring, please share them with your friends and family.